What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Welcome back to another episode of the 5 Takeaways, where we're going to take a look at the 1-1 draw at Goodison Park and see what 5 things we can take away from the game, starting off with number 1, and that is crumbling away form.
Yeah, and it's really starting to hurt us badly, this away form now. That's 6 away games without a victory now in a row. Milan, Leicester, Sheffield United, Wolves, Southampton, and now Everton. And that's 4 teams that are in the relegation scrap. We've gone away from home now and not won. Championship sides, B team, we've gone away from home and failed and lost. And obviously AC Milan at the San Siro, which we lost 1-0 in the Champions League. So it's not like we've had the most difficult games as well away from home. We've absolutely fallen on our faces in each one, pretty much found a way to embarrass ourselves in all these away games. And it just goes to show the lack of mental fortitude again, which we'll get into the next one. But in terms of our away form, though, it's just really hard to watch. And you just can't bank on us to win any away game at this point.
Yeah, and we've just gone through a run of games where, you know, we looked at these games a number of weeks ago being like, you know, we can go on a bit of a run here. You know, I'm looking at Sheffield United away in the FA Cup, Wolves away in the Premier League, Southampton away, and now Everton away. Not one win coming out of any of those 4 games, as well as, you know, we did play Nottingham Forest at home, which was the only win that we did get in that run of games. And you're looking at the away games coming up now. And it's just like, if we couldn't win any of those games, how are we going to win any of our next games? Our next 2 away games are Newcastle away and Liverpool away.
Yeah, this is Tottenham. You never know. You know what I mean? It's we just like, we'll beat Man City, then we'll lose to Burnley. That's what we are. But we also have a tendency to be, again, Dr. Tottenham. I think Leicester have lost every single game since they beat us 4-1. I think it's been 5 defeats in a row since beating us. Wolves have only won 1 game, I think, in their last 5 or 6, and that was against Tottenham. AC Milan ended a streak of defeats with a victory against us. It's just we're just giving teams their mojo back, basically, and that's how it is.
And that's what we've been doing for many, many years. And that's why we're called Dr. Tottenham, because this exact reason. And it just keeps rearing its ugly head time and time again. But let's move on to the second takeaway, and that is proving Conte right.
Yeah, and Conte, a lot of his criticism last week was about Tottenham players not wanting to play under stress, not being able to handle the pressure, enjoying kind of not having the stress to play under, and not having the right mentality to see up games and not having the responsibility. And I think the last 20 minutes of that game, the whole second half really of that game yesterday, but especially the last 20 minutes, really proved him right in everything he said. And with all the players having the chance to kind of respond to Conte after those comments, and obviously he's been sacked since then, they've literally doubled down on everything he's complaining about, and it's made Conte look like he's spitting absolute facts.
Yeah, because he was spitting absolute facts. We all said it at the time. The players came out fighting, a number of them saying, oh, it's not me. Like, why would that be me? I mean, I know I always give 100%. All these players coming out, even Sonny coming out saying, you know, he feels culpable for why Conte was sacked. Again, he puts in an absolutely terrible display. I thought we were going to see a really good performance off the back of those comments from Heung-min Son. And the rest of the players coming out saying what I said before. And it's just like, do you not have any self-awareness whatsoever? Like, we're getting this situation time and time again, and it's these players that throw us under the bus every single time. Yes, there are other problems at this football club that stem right from the top, but these players have got to take a long, hard look at themselves and seeing what they are producing on the football pitch, because it's nowhere near good enough. I mean, they're losing to teams right at the bottom of the league. Not only are they losing to teams right at the bottom of the league, but they're going out in the cup to like a B team Sheffield United team, like with a 17-year-old and 19-year-olds playing. It's just like, where's the self-respect? Seriously.
There's only so much you can blame the manager for when you're putting in these kind of performances and when you're giving up leads so easily. Like, you can blame the manager all you want, but you've got to take responsibility for what you're doing and on the pitch and have some leadership, and it's just lacking.
Exactly. Let's move on to the third takeaway, and that is extra man disadvantage.
Yeah, and Spurs took the lead on 67 minutes after the sending off was in the 60th minute. And for the last 20 minutes, Tottenham were outshot, out-tackled, less possession, and were dispossessed 5 times compared to Everton, who were only dispossessed once in the last 20 minutes.
Unforced error stat.
And that led,
unforced error stat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have one, but yeah, I mean, the unforced errors were there for all to see, and obviously it led to Everton equalising in the 92th minute, which their pressure told in the end. But it's absolutely shocking how you wouldn't be able to tell who had 11 men, who had 10 men, to be honest, for those last 20 minutes.
They had 2 extra men. No, one.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy how we lost control of that game against a team with one man down, and it was absolutely pathetic how we panicked and lacked composure, and they had the advantage with one less man.
Yeah, and I try and figure out ways like to try and be positive before games and try and get on the side of the team and the club, but when they're consistently putting in disaster class after disaster class after disaster class, it's like so hard to keep this. And I'm just like thinking, when the hell is this going to end? When's it going to end?
Never.
There is no end in sight. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. But let's move on to number 4, and that is losing the lead.
Yeah, and the last time, Spurs yesterday lost the lead against a team with 10 men for the first time since 2016, when we played in North London derby. We were set
in the 2-2.
In the 2-2, Harry Kane with the mask goal, and we were going to go top of the league, and obviously we ended up drawing the game. But also for the first time in 7 years that we've lost the lead to a team with 10 men, which shows how rare it is. But it's just that also shows how inexcusable it is to lose a lead to a team who are one man down, because you've got to be doing everything you can to make you use of that advantage, and we somehow made it into a disadvantage. But the first time in 7 years we've done it, and that just goes to show how embarrassing it is.
Yeah, and what made it even worse, it's not just solely the fact that it was 10 on against 11, because if you play a good team with 10 men, like if you play against like a Bayern Munich or a Man City, against 10 men, it's not exactly going to be easy still, just because they get a man sent off. But you're looking at this Everton side, the way they play their football, the way we like to play our football, and you're thinking like it should play into our hands completely now. We should go on and seal this game off and get 2 free goals. They were flooding men forward in search of the goal. There were so many gaps in behind, and every time we tried to play it out the back, all it was unforced error, playing it back to Everton, playing into their hands. And that's what makes it even more embarrassing, because literally they basically just came up to us. Decore came up to us and he goes, "Here's 3 points on a silver platter. Do you want to take it?" And we go, "No thanks, you can have a point." That's basically what happened yesterday.
Literally, yeah. Can't disagree with that.
And last but not least, the 5th and final takeaway, and that is somehow in 4th.
Yeah, with the point that we did get yesterday, we actually did go into 4th, with Man United going 5th in the table yesterday, albeit Newcastle and Man United both have 2 games in hand on Tottenham, both playing in midweek. Man United playing Brentford, Newcastle away at West Ham. So despite the doom and gloom and everything negative around the club, somehow we're still in 4th. But as Conte said, with this attitude and mentality, we're going to be fighting for 7th and 8th, not 4th. So we definitely have to somehow look. It's all well and good, so we have to turn it around. But if we're not going to do it in a game like yesterday, we're never going to do it, and that's the sad reality of the situation. So we're in 4th at the moment. It is a bit of a false position, in my opinion.
A bit.
So I do think we'll probably be falling out of that position sooner rather than later. But we can celebrate going into there for the night.
I will not be celebrating whatsoever. That was an absolute embarrassment yesterday, and us going in 4th is, like you say, a completely false position. And we're basically only there by default because Man United and Newcastle have played 2 games less than us. And like you said, absolutely, sooner rather than later, we will be dropping out of that top 4, and we won't be able to recover it and make it back in there. So, I mean, would you think that if we are going to miss out on 4th, would you prefer just to come out of Europe completely and finish 8th? I think I would,
I mean, I wouldn't mind the not Conference League. I wouldn't mind the Europa League too much, because at least there's maybe an avenue for a trophy, and it's a good trophy to win. Conference League I don't want. So if it's Conference League or nothing, I'd rather nothing. But if it's Europa League, I don't terribly against Europa League.
But you're looking like the state of the squad, right? And Europa League just brings way too many games. So wouldn't you just prefer just to be out of Europe and just be able to concentrate on the league and see what we can make out of it?
Because we're not going to win the league, so no. If we were good, if we were going for a title challenge, I would say yeah, but because no, then other than that, I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's fair enough, to be honest. But that is your 5 takeaways from the 1-1 draw against Everton. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of our takeaways, and put your takeaways in the comment section below. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
Come on, you Spurs.